quite quickly these days, people said, no, what?
Yeah.
So,
Like here, I know limestone, and I live at limestone, but right next to another one, airport.
yeah, even anybody out with, you know, around, do anything.
No other station, no other councillors from stations.
That used to be the station name.
My name was on council for 44 years, yeah, you'll know that.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's good time.
I'm glad that councillor Colin again retired again. But first come to East Pilbara, then as a police officer back in the middle 80s. Then got a job up here at my fellow place in and he won't be back. Got a job with local government, started qualification, and retired in 4 years ago. I've been back again since 2012.
Josh. Hi, my name is Josh Brown. I'm the manager of government, and I help organise council meetings, and really happy with the having us here today. Thank you. My name's Nick. I'm a strategic advocacy advisor, and part of that work is with the relationships between the Shire and the state and federal government. Thank you, it's a privilege to be here.
Well, Mary, I am the Director of Community Experience, and I'm also look after Amy and the team at Nottingham.
You all look after each other.
Good morning, my name is Tim Walner. I'm new to the show and chief customer director of corporate services. And thank you for welcome.
Good morning, I'm Rob. I've been in the Shire for 4 months. And I'm up town mainly building health arrangements. Tourism. The things that can work on.
Thank you. Good morning, I'm Grant Brooks. I'm Councillor Wendy's husband. I'm president of Limestone Station at Marble Vale, and very grateful for the invitation for the host the council meetings. It's a lovely place. You should be proud of it.
Thank you. Okay, I'm not on the council, I'm on the previous two, I'm new council.
Thank you. I'll follow on that excellent welcome, and thank you for having us again. But I welcome you all to the Shire Pilbara Council meeting, 25 July 2025, held in the Punmu community, which I declare open at 10:30 when we started. Excited, we still acknowledge the traditional owners throughout this vast region and their continuing connection to the land, waters and community. We pay our respects to the members of these Aboriginal communities and their cultures, past, present and emerging. You may ask if I have mobile phones to refrain from using them. The duration of the meeting, tablets and laptops are permitted for the purpose of agenda items and notes. I advise all those in attendance that this meeting is being audio recorded, which can be accessed by members of the public and the media, and council members should refrain from making any defamatory statements. The meeting is also being live streamed, a recording of which will be available on the Shire's YouTube channel and website. Members of the public are advised that anyone who has any application lodged with the Shire must obtain and should only rely on the written confirmation of the outcome of the application and any conditions attached to the decision made by the Shire Pilbara in respect of the application. Attendance by electronic means, which we have nil. We have the record of attendance and apologies. It's completed. It's read. With a leave of absence with Councillor Lockyer and David Fuller, both applied for leave of absence for today's meeting. These requests will be approved in item 9 of the agenda. Moving on to item 4, disclosure of interest. Are there any disclosure of interest to be made in relation to any of today's agenda items, councillors?
A disclosure of interest, please. I've read the deputation notes that came through to us for the deputation, and I'd like to suggest that as the Vice Chairman of the Chamber of Commerce, that you actually do have perhaps a declaration to make on items 12.1.3, 12.1.4 and 12.1.5. Ms. Pete.
Yep, deputation is on the decision of council, so I won't need to make a declaration on a deputation that's being made. But my role as vice chair of the interim first in not in direct competition with the sponsorship request that have been put forward today. And if they were, then I would suggest that Lee Anderson, as a member of the Mother Bar Race Club, would also need to declare an interest. So I'm not sure.
There's nothing today on the Mother Bar Race Club.
Something today on the interim report.
But Lee did declare a bit of interest. I mean, he wasn't present at the meeting, no, but he would have anything to do with the race club, he would declare a conflict of interest, which he does.
To my understanding, there is nothing on the agenda today that is related to the new Chamber of Commerce, and the decision being made is not related to the new Chamber of Commerce, and the impact of the decision we make is not related. I'll wait for advice from Josh. But my understanding was that I need to.
It's entirely up to the individual to declare their own interest, should they be fit.
Yeah, and I'll declare it on 12.1.8, only because it's in relation to the CEO's remuneration review policy. but there's no real conflict here, but I'll declare it.
Chair, can I say something? This is, the Shire's meeting. I understand that you're relevant to us, mothers at the moment, but, later on down the track, can you give us a time when you have time for us to talk about our roads, please? Yep. Because, this is your first meeting, it's open for you. We just only want a time for us to talk about our roads as a board.
Sure.
The next time you're gonna come, we'd like you to come again, we'd like you to dry out. Dry out. Yeah.
I would say 50%, Grove, yeah?
So,
50%.
Chair President, you can give me a time or ask when you can fit us in.
Yep, so we're on item 4 at the moment. At item 8, which is petitions, deputations and presentations, we'll open that up. So probably about 5 minutes. Okay? Abby? 5 minutes and we go. We'll just go through these ones and we'll shortly. Yeah, very shortly. Okay, sorry, any other declarations, disclosure of interest before we move on? Thank you. Item 5 is a declaration by council members have given due consideration. I'll go through the list. Councillor McGregor Brooks.
I have given due consideration to all matters contained in the business papers before the meeting.
Councillor Anderson.
I've given due consideration to all matters contained in the business papers before this meeting.
Councillor Everett.
I've given due consideration to matters in the business papers before the meeting.
Councillor Chapman. Thank you. Councillor Bear.
I've given due consideration to all the matters contained in the business papers.
Thank you, Councillor Landy.
I have given due consideration to all matters contained in the business paper before the meeting.
Thank you. I too have given due consideration to all matters contained in the business paper before this meeting. Item 6, we'll move on to response to previous questions taken notice, which is nil. Public question time, which you go to it now. Yep. Okay. So we'll hand over to yourself. Yes.
So the floor is open.
Floor is open. Yes.
Well, I got two issues for my people. One is the road. I don't know who is Mother Barbara running that. Or who's doing the road for us?
The General Shire.
We doing the road, the grading of the road, also the reshaping to other contractors or the general staff.
The council's responsible.
Yes.
Well, they're doing their job. And if they're responsible for that road, they just do a little catch up here and there, but that's not good enough for us, right? And it's, we need that road to be done, and we've got a limestone country right through over there when you're first coming in. We want that dug up and straightened. Because our cars, we're not, most of us on welfare, we don't get big money for working. We can't afford to fix our cars and that, so that. And the second thing, is there any tenders going out for that road from here to the border?
That's also been done
Done, yeah.
recently, with patch grading being done. The marble, the Punmu Road from Telfer to here was graded in November. And after November, we had rains and we had the cyclone Zealand and February.
Excuse me, that's where it just had a rain another day. And the rain before, they didn't do it. And after that little rain, they only come and patch 2 areas. And that's not good enough. I've been on that road.
Yeah.
Before the rain and after the rain, and we've got witnesses here. And, you know, so we want to grade it from there right to here.
And what the songs area, we need to pack that up too. We just need to pack it up.
So we
Well, we do the water when it's
we got
what's this?
a maintenance grading program, and as I said, it was graded in November last year, in 2025, 24. And we got the next grading schedule for the Punmu Road is in August, which is next month.
But we're telling you, we live here, we are telling the board, and we want you to support us. That sits on the Shire. We want you to support us to do that road because one day we ain't going to have money when we lose our loved ones to come out on that road and, you know, they're going to be throwing here, there and everywhere. And that's not nice. So, you know.
So if I can make a general comment and not downplaying what you're saying, because we agree with you 100%. And one of the things that we've been advocating very strongly with government, specifically with the state and federal government, is your pot of money is too small. So we overall, apart from these roads, we have 3,144 kilometres of dirt roads. We are spending more money than they spend in Perth on roads, to be honest. I checked the budget the other day and I was surprised we're spending more, but it's still not enough. So what we're advocating for very strongly is for a bigger bucket of money from the state, from the federal government, and particularly there's a fund called Indigenous Roads or Aboriginal Roads, I think they call it, and we get $900,000. We went out to tender onto doing, and it wasn't even we're not doing as much as we want, just small portions, and it came in at 2.2 million for what we would think was insignificant works. Because the further we come to the east, the higher our costs are. So we are very, very conscious that there's just not enough money at the moment to do what we need to do. And as the years pass, it gets worse and worse and worse because there's less to work with. But all we can say is that we are advocating extremely, very high level. We go to see Aboriginal ministers. We go and see the roads people and really point out the situation to them as much as we can. The problem we have is, we've got 8 graders to go full time, and we can't keep up. For us to get more people, more graders here, we are going to require more funds. So we are really, really pushing really hard for that. But I do sympathise with what you're saying.
I don't need that. We don't need to sympathise. No, that's not good enough. This road, one time, it never got done for, how many years? 3, 4 years, it never got done. And, we can't compare our roads to Perth, no. Because we live out here. And what is extravagant word? The needs, what we want for that road is to be, I don't know. We've been just repeating ourselves and now we're sick of it. We want that road, we want it done. And how long have you, the council in Pilbara been there for so long? Many, 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 many years. And rotations and whatever they do. But it's still not good enough. We want our roads done. We need our roads done. So can that be a priority for Punmu?
It is priority on all roads, but we'll definitely focus on what we can do.
I can't talk for anybody else. I can talk from that road from here.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
You know the road that she's talking about, Manila. Now from the windmill, like you have to do Willow, where the windmill is, that road we're talking about.
Yeah.
It's been bad. But we had Shires working this way. Around 33.
Yep.
Last couple of months. Right, so I don't know already. Maybe went to the border as well. I'm sure, yeah.
We've done all the way up to
Lunch going there.
Jupiter Way. We've done patch grading all the way up to Jupiter Way.
Okay.
Just far as there. Not be further.
Well, all we can say, and because I don't,
They were just saying about their road.
Yeah.
Yeah, some people having an accident as well.
Yeah, and we have.
Understand.
It's
Yeah.
right.
It's been, like, yeah, like the whole
Or something down.
thing there, we're talking about, that's like,
Write a letter of support.
absolutely.
like all,
Give us something positive,
the other one, where the windmill is.
that's all we ask.
Yeah, it's, look, I tell you what,
Yeah,
it's a good idea,
Yeah.
councillor Lanson just raised.
we
It
just
would be
raised
good,
it again.
it would be good, it would be get a letter of support. We are in your corner. We absolutely agree with you 100%, and we're doing what we can, but when the bucket's as big as it is, we're trying to make it a bigger bucket.
Yeah,
And certainly what we are saying, particularly on the roads, the further we get to the east, more money needs to be spent on it, but there isn't the money to be spent on. So that's where we are. And I can tell you that Etienne's working very hard on this. Certainly, the Shire President, myself and the council are working hard on trying to get a bigger bucket of funds. Don't tell us when we go to you that you've only got, not yourselves, I'm talking about the government, you've only got that much money to give us. You want to, you talk about closing the gap and doing the right thing. This is doing the right thing, and that's what we keep. That's the message we keep saying. But a letter of support, and maybe through Edith, might be a good way of just saying that this is the state of our roads. Can you please help us? It'd be very helpful for us to actually reinforce what we're saying, just physically. When we say it, so it's okay, but when we've got paper, people saying in the community, it will help us to help you.
And we've been saying this for years.
Yeah, understand
In the bucket, you talk about the bucket, that bucket should have been filled every year, And how many years have you, I know the rotation of people that get on and off, but how long have we Pilbara sat there in Newman? How long? And that bucket should have went up from 90,000 or something like that, And it's, that's,
The bucket is the Shire, federal?
Yeah, federal.
So that's, so the letter of support will help us push to get that bucket increased because it hasn't been increased, that's the.
Shire been in Newman. How long that's been there? Many years?
Yeah.
That's right. And how long we been living out here?
long,
It's wrong, I would imagine.
long before that shop.
That's right. And I'm not having to go at anybody, but I want you to find that money and do the road for us. That's
Yeah,
all.
yeah,
And make that bucket and give us a priority and build a bucket for us first for once. And then people who come and touching up, they should just go along. Don't even, I don't know what they do out there, because every time we drive past, they just sit and parked up and that little section of the road is done. That's not good enough. What do you get paid for? You've got to earn your money proper way.
Yeah, we don't disagree. I can guarantee that this week I'm going to Canberra with the CEO, and we'll speak to the federal parliament about trying to increase that money. That's what we can do for you. Yeah.
And
Younger now, God, I had my say. What a say.
if there was a
Yeah, no excuse. We've been here, living here.
if there's a gate,
Well, thank you.
wait,
Oh, yes, all I wanted to say.
there was
Thank
a
you.
wait,
People,
Yeah.
that's it.
and
Thank you.
Don't come in here and think we don't underestimate us because we know. And what we say, no, not needed. We want help. We're trying for our road to be, we get vegetables from Telfer. When they get here, half of them are bruised. I'm sure you guys don't eat bruised vegetables and fruit. Come on. So, they don't come out here and if we welcome you and think that, and yeah, that's right. And we're not dumb. We can talk. So, and we know the show been sitting there for years. That bucket should have been had a lot of dollar signs in it. Should you? A long time ago.
we would used to go on a little narrow road, go
We
to
would come on the lake there before this road they put. And
So Mohammed,
yeah.
where we would have.
Thank you, everybody.
We need to have-
Thank you.
Enjoy it.
Using that road.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Excellent, thank you.
That road, this road wasn't fixed last couple of, I don't know how many years, maybe 3 or the bad road we had. There was no money. One more, yeah, one, there is a one good problem, the problem in some.
Yeah.
There was a block out here. Yeah, we broke. We have to go to the right door
Oh.
and talk for the money to throw into the Shire. That's where you can go to and do your talk.
Money story.
Money story, yeah.
Bulldozer fell off the truck. And there was a cab sitting there and they, when the bulldozer fell off the truck and they had to just put the thing back together and cut away and they went with that. Fixing the road probably.
Oh.
All those things, if there was a grader sitting out here somewhere, you know, commonly owns, and we can then get a mechanical site here. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if there was a grader, it'll solve some of our problem just out to the where Gary.
Gary Junction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then these people can take over from there to the border.
Mm.
You know? Some grader that community people own, but the thing is we gotta go and find money somewhere to get a grader.
So one model to the
We gotta
and talk to those people and find really hard for the money for the road. Go to the right door.
I just would like to say something. A lot of federal money, in my opinion, comes from Tony Abbott's words of this is a lifestyle choice. And it's not a lifestyle choice. And if we take away the moral part, you look at purely economic, and I've seen the studies, for all Margaret to move to Headland and Newman would be a disaster financially, but also socially. And I'm up against that comment he's made. The ABC have talked to me about it. And I think if we can support you, we can support the Shire. I will support them in any way possible to try and increase the funding and potentially a grader. We've got very skilled operators in this community, and we've got a full-time mechanic who's a proper heavy-duty mechanic. It's something we could look at, even potentially, you know, in conjunction with the Shire and Telfer or Havieron, but it would solve a lot of everyone's problems.
Cool. Yeah, we did mention just previous to you coming in around getting a letter of support from yourself.
Absolutely.
But also maybe wider to JAC as well, which we can do that. And I have been advocating with the feds around a grader and purchasing for the communities because that would add value. And we are well aware that there is very skilled operators out here on country, and they can do that. So we'll in
any way.
Excellent.
But that's what you're up against.
Yes. Yeah,
and against it's that comment from many years ago because it gets thrown at me a lot.
Yes.
And I've got good arguments for that one.
Yeah, and then we do the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, they talk about the roads out to the communities. Well, there needs to be some actual outcomes in that regard.
People here may not pay rates, but they certainly pay tax.
Yeah.
And so their voice is as strong as anyone's when they're talking, in my opinion, talking to the federal government. So
excellent.
We'll stand with you on that one.
Thank you, Judith. Appreciate that. Any further public questions, John? Okay, we're moving on to item 8, the petitions, deputations and presentations, which we have received a request to present a deputation from Ms Sarah Stampley, the chairperson of the CCI. Sarah on there?
Yes.
Oh, so can you hear us, Sarah? You're on mute. But yep, okay, cool, thank you. So welcome. You're joining us today from Newman via Teams. Please speak for 10 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, Shire President, councillors, CEO, administration and other guests. It looks like a great turnout there. On behalf of the Newman Chamber of Commerce, I appreciate the opportunity to speak to Council today regarding matters arising in the agenda, specifically in relation to recent discussions on the allocation of funding for community sponsorships and grants. The Newman Chamber acknowledges and respects the Shire of East Pilbara's established assessment processes and remains fully committed to a constructive working relationship with both Council and administration. That relationship has continued to improve in the last 12 months, with strengthened communication, clearer mutual goals, and increased alignment between community-facing initiatives. However, we believe that recent decisions diverge from core strategic priorities and impose conditions inconsistent with standard sponsorship guidelines. In particular, we draw Council's attention to items 12.1.3 and 12.1.4 on today's agenda relating to sponsorship requests from the East Pilbara Race Club and Pilbara for Purpose. These applications have been recommended for full approval under the Shire's sponsorship program. We commend this support of local initiatives and acknowledge the importance of such events in the community calendar. However, the procedural fairness extended to those applicants highlights the disparity in the treatment of the Chamber's own application. The Business Excellence Awards, one of our flagship events, speaks directly to the shared economic and development goals outlined in both the Shire's and the Chamber's strategic plans. These awards celebrate innovation, uplift small to medium enterprises, and foster vital connections within the local business ecosystem. Their impact extends far beyond the event night, contributing to a more resilient, visible and confident business sector across Newman and the wider East Pilbara. Winners are also afforded the opportunity to participate in the Regional Chamber of Commerce Awards in Perth, presenting our region and our local businesses on a grander stage. In this case, the Chamber submitted an application for $10,000 in line with our published sponsorship prospectus, which outlines clear and structured benefits for each sponsorship tier. At the silver level, sponsors receive media coverage, formal branding placement, and most notably, the opportunity to present an award on stage. Our intention was to lodge the application under the Shire's sponsorship program as per previous years. However, due to a limitation within the online grants portal defaulting to the 24-25 financial year, the application was submitted under the Community Assistance Grants category. Upon identifying this issue, I confirmed with our grants contact at the time, Stephen Gould, the application would be transferred to the correct stream if appropriate. Despite this assurance, the application remained in the Community Assistance stream and was assessed accordingly. Council subsequently approved the reduced amount of $6,500 and imposed a condition that the Shire be afforded the opportunity to speak or present an award at the event. Unfortunately, Council was not advised that this condition was in direct conflict with the Chamber's prospectus, where presenting rights are guaranteed for contributions at the $10,000 silver tier and above, but not guaranteed in the bronze category unless there is a vacant opportunity. This omission denied Council the opportunity to make a fully informed and fair decision. The result is a misalignment between the financial contribution and the benefits granted, placing the Shire in a privileged position compared to the other sponsors who meet the published criteria in full. This outcome, though, has broader implications for the Chamber. It devalues the clearly tiered sponsorship structure that underpins the awards and risks undermining the confidence of the existing and potential sponsors who rely on transparent and equitable treatment. The Shire's own economic development and tourism strategy outlines a commitment to supporting resilient, connected local economies through governance that is fair, inclusive and commercially minded. The decision made in this instance does not reflect those principles. In the interest of process integrity and consistent governance, we respectfully request that the Council direct the administration to reassess the Chamber's application under the appropriate sponsorship stream, using a refreshed and impartial panel, and to provide Council with a revised recommendation that reflects the sponsorship framework and the economic development outcomes of this event. Should Council choose not to revisit this matter, we request that material reasons be provided to explain the rationale for the reduction and the inclusion of conditions that conflict with the Chamber's established sponsorship structure, particularly when compared to the decisions recommended under items 12.1.3 and 12.1.4. By restoring procedural fairness and reaffirming the value of the Business Excellence Awards, Council will strengthen its reputation as a fair and strategic partner to the local business community. We thank you for your time, your consideration and your continued support of the economic prosperity of Newman and the East Pilbara. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Sarah, for your deputation today. We'll take that and work with it going forward. Thank you very much. You're welcome to stay if you wish to.
Thank you.
Thank you. No other petition deputation presentations have been brought up. So we'll move on to item 9, applications for leave of absence. So applications for leave of absence for the OCM 25 July 2025 have been received from Councillor Lou Lockyer and Councillor David Cooler. Are there any further requests for leave of absence for future meetings? Nope. Okay, can I please get a mover and a seconder for the following motion, which states that the leave of absence be granted to Councillor Lee Lockyer and Councillor David Fuller for the ordinary council meeting of July 2025, 25 July 2025. Mover, please. Councillor Everett, thank you. Seconder. Oh, yes, Councillor Chapman, thank you. And I now put that vote. All those in favour, please. All for and none against. Thank you. Confirmation of minutes of previous council meetings. So the 10.1, the minutes of the ordinary council meeting held on 27 June 2025 and the minutes of the special council meeting held on 16 July 2025 have been circulated and published on the Shire's website. Where the opposite recommendation reads that the OCM and confidential minutes of the ordinary council meeting held on 27 June 2025 and the minutes of the special council meeting held on 16 July 2025 and published on the Shire website and council portal be confirmed as a true and correct record of proceedings. Can I get a mover, please? Councillor Wood Brooks, thank you. Seconder, Councillor Landy, thank you. Are there any changes to be made, councillors? Thank you. All those in favour, please put it to the vote. All for and none against. Carried. Item 11, members' reports. So council members' written reports will be included in the minutes. Are there any further members' reports to this meeting? Members' reports. Item 12, 12.1, the 12.1.1, sorry, the change of date 25 September ordinary council meeting, where the recommendation reads that Council 1 adopts the following dates and times and places for the September 2025 ordinary council meeting of council and the audit committee. 3 October 2025 OCM 10:30 AM Marble Bar, 15 October 2025 ARG 5 PM Newman. And 2 publishes the updated dates and places of ordinary council meeting and audit committee meeting in accordance with Regulation 12 of the Local Government Administration Regulations 1996. Can I get a mover, please? Councillor Bear, thank you. Seconder, Councillor Anderson. Councillor Bear, do you wish to speak?
The dates, sorry, my middle line, it's not. Can I ask how the dates are affected by the caretaker period for the election? Like, what is that? How does that affect their agenda?
So through the chair, look, it'd be basically one of the important functions is to actually report on the financial status of what we spent money on, etc. So that's one of the key things. In terms of the caretaker mode, there are certain things that cannot happen. One of those is you can't make any major decisions, so they'll be minor. You can't spend over $250,000 on any one tender. Here's the other they're probably 2 key ones. You can't fine me, you can't hire me. Apart from that, I think that's really the bounds of which we affected. So you can expect that the October meetings will be probably. Yeah, I think we've done business around. We'll get stuff done before caretaker mode and after, and we won't impact that time period. But there'll be probably less items and lower impact items in that period. That's it.
But I think it's always going to be a challenge going forward. That's just the way it is.
So Josh,
yeah.
But through the chair, there are mechanisms if something urgent arises. There are mechanisms to receive approval from the minister to consider.
Process there. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Anderson, the seconder, you got anything?
Nothing.
Any other councillor wish to speak? Can I put this to vote, please? All those in favour, please. Show of hands. Thank you. All for and none against. The in-kind application, Community Grants Program 2025-26, where the recommendation reads that 1, approves the following in-kind community grant funding application and panel assessment recommendations. Newman Basketball Association, $6,000 in kind. Newman Bloody So Games, $6,000 in kind. Total is $12,000 in kind. 2, authorise the Chief Executive Officer to approve payments under an in-kind community grant agreement and 2025-26 community grant budget. Mover, please. Councillor Brooks. Seconder. Yep. Thank you, Councillor Anderson. The mover would like to speak.
No, thank you.
Councillor Anderson, the seconder. Thank you. Anybody else wish to speak? Show of hands, please. All those in favour? Thank you. All for and none against. 12.1.3, the sponsorship application 2025-26 East Pilbara Race Club, where the officer's recommendation reads that Council 1 approves the 2025-26 sponsorship grant funding of $15,000 excluding GST to the East Pilbara Race Club sponsorship under the 2025-26 annual sponsorship budget. And 2, authorise the Chief Executive Officer to approve payments under the 2025-26 sponsorship grant funding agreement. Can I get a mover, please? Yep, Councillor Anderson, thank you. Councillor Chapman is a seconder, thank you. Councillor Anderson, do you wish to speak?
No, thanks.
Councillor Chapman is a second. Does anyone else wish to speak on this one?
January, especially because I remember the Marble Bar race buttons had like a 400 something pound budget. This was going to be, what about the races make them cost like so much in the budget?
What was that, sorry?
So the total project cost?
Yes.
For this one is like 250,000, and then I think I recall the Marble Bar race club was like 490,000.
Right.
I don't know anything about like putting on a race club event, but I was just curious about what.
Security and flights from to get up from Perth.
Yeah. Does that include like the winnings of the event?
It does.
Oh, right. That's all.
Yeah. I do know, spoke to the Newman Race Club the other day, and I think it's 49 just for a plane or something. So that's a cost. I'm not sure how
We
many.
paid 68 or something for the plane to fly, but just the security and bar staff. You got like 30, 40 people, 40 something people just to bring up the security between security and bar staff. And then you've got to pay them as well. So it's a lot of money.
Especially because they're managed by volunteer committees, so yeah, really impressive.
Yeah, that sparked my interest when they said it was that much, and I said, well, can you sell the empty seats? And they said, well, no, that's actually full with staff. I'm like, gee, well, then people got to pay, right, as well, so, or jockeys and stuff. Anyway, so no, that's a good question.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
So the only comment I wanted to make, just in general, so we get naming rights on this one, so it's the Shire Pilbara Race Cup. I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Supporting that, yeah.
Okay.
Why not?
Cool, thank you. Anybody else wish to speak? Okay, put this to the vote, please. All those in favour? All for, none against. Thank you. 12.1.4, the sponsorship applications 2025-26 Pilbara for purpose. As presented before you, the officer's recommendation reads that Council 1 approve the 2025-26 sponsorship grant funding of $10,000 for student GST for Pilbara for purpose under the 2025-26 annual sponsorship budget. And 2, authorises the Chief Executive Officer to approve the payments on the 2025-26 sponsorship grant funding agreement. Can I get a mover, please? You, Councillor Everett. Seconder. Yep, Councillor Anderson, you happy with second? Yep. You. Right, Councillor Everett, you wish to speak? Councillor Anderson?
Nothing.
Does anyone else wish to speak? Nope. 12.1.4 to the vote, please. All those in favour? Thank you. All for and none against. 12.1.5, the recent grants awarded to the Shire of East Pilbara update as presented before you. The recommendation reads that Council 1 notes the report and results from grant submissions and the result of successful grant outcomes. And 2, authorise the Chief Executive Officer to enter into grant funding agreements from grant submissions funding providers identified in this report. Can I get a mover, please? Councillor Bear, thank you. Seconder, Councillor Landy. Councillor Bear, you wish to speak? Councillor Landy? Anybody else wish to speak? All to the vote, please. Those in favour? For and none against. It's carried. .1.6, the policy review minor variations, where the officer's recommendation reads that Council accepts the review and adopts the revised minor variation policy attached as Appendix 1. Mover, please. Councillor McWhirter-Brooks. Thank you. Seconder, Councillor Anderson. Councillor McWhirter-Brooks used to speak. Councillor Anderson. Anybody else wish to speak? It's just my perspective. We can have the changes. For some of them, historically, we've had changes. Made changes, and I noticed in all these policies there has been no track changes.
Yes, so through the chair, the reason for that, and we'll in future we'll put them side by side. With this one, the only change was in the review period.
Okay,
which went from every 4 years to annual.
Sure.
And then in the next one, I think there were no changes recommended.
Okay,
which is why there was no.
But we just get that noted, just because it's just easier to try and track. Historically, if it's understandably, if there's all red on it, you know it's been crossed out, changed, even if it's just a simple date or whatever, just so it can be a bit easy for us. Thank you. Anybody else wish to speak on that? We move on for the vote. No, to the vote, please. 12.1.6. All those in favour? All for and none against. Is carried. 12.1.7, the Walga Submission Request Communications Agreement, where the recommendation reads that Council adopts a submission document attached as Appendix 5 as Council's response to the WA Local Government Association's request for sector feedback in relation to the draft regulatory amendments and default communications agreement prepared by the Department of Local Government, Sports and Cultural Industries. A mover, please. Councillor Brooks, thank you. Seconder, Councillor Everett, thank you. Councillor Brooks, you wish to speak?
Nothing to add, but to commend officers on the work they've done on this report.
Thank you. Councillor Everett?
Thank you.
Anybody else wish to speak? 12.1.7 to the vote, please. All those in favour? All for and none against. It's carried. 12.1.8, the policy review, Chief Executive Officer, annual remuneration review policy. Seconds. I know the officer recommendation reads that Council accepts the review and adopts the Chief Executive Officer annual remuneration review policy as Appendix 1. Mover, please. Councillor Bear, thank you. Seconder, Councillor Gerda Brooks. Councillor Bear, you wish to speak? Councillor Gerda Brooks.
Thank you.
Anybody else wish to speak? Thank you. 12.1.8 to the vote, please. All those in favour? Thank you. All for and none against. Come on. 12.1.9, status of council decisions, where the officer's recommendation reads that council notes the report. Mover, please. Councillor Brooks. Seconder. Councillor Anderson. Mover like to speak? Seconder. Anybody else wish to speak? 12.1.9 to the vote. All those in favour? All for, none against. Thank you. 12.2.1, the policy review for debt. Officer's recommendation reads that council accepts the review and adopts the revised debt policy attached as Appendix 1. Mover, please. Councillor Bear. Seconder. Councillor Gerda Brooks. The mover like to speak?
Yeah, I just wanted to commend Josh for his team on the work on the policies. I know when I started on council, we were reviewing policies that had annual or 4-yearly review periods that hadn't been reviewed since the early noughties. So thank you, even when they're coming up with no changes, it's important that we are making sure we've got eyes on them and getting rid of anything that's been done or not perfect. But thank you, Josh.
And very helpful when they're tracked.
Yeah.
Thank you. Sorry, just had to throw one in there. Sorry, Josh. Councillor Gerda Brooks is the seconder.
It was in the report.
Sorry?
The tracking was in the report. And that in the report. It was in the report. If I can only reiterate Councillor Bear's comments. Thank you for those.
Thank you. Anybody else wish to speak? 12.2.1 to the vote, please. All those in favour? All for and none against. It's carried. 12.2.2, the monthly financial statements, insurance and investment report as at 30 June 2025, where the officer's recommendation reads the council adopts the interim monthly financial statements for the period ending 30 June 2025 of the 2024-2025 financial year included as appendices 1 and 2 to the report. Mover, please. Gerda Brooks. Seconder. Yeah, thanks, Anderson. Thank you. The mover like to speak?
No, I have nothing to add.
Seconder?
No, thanks.
Anybody else? Thank you. All to the vote, please. Thank you. All for and none against. Uh, 12.2.3, list of accounts, month ending 30 June 2025, where the recommendation reads that council endorses the following payments for the period of 1 to 30 June 2025, itemised in the confidential appendix 1. EFT payments $6,712,359.77. MasterCard $47,370.04. Cheque payments $54,028.85. And direct payments $10,805.32. Can I get a mover, please? Councillor Gerda Brooks, thank you. Seconder? Councillor Everett, thank you. The mover like to speak?
No, thank you.
Seconder? No. Anybody else wish to speak? For the vote, please. All those in favour? All for and none against. It's carried. Thank you. 12.3.1, establishment of the East Pilbara Volunteer Bushfire Brigade, where the recommendation reads that council, 1, in accordance with 41.3 of the Bushfires Act 1954, cancels the registration of Nullagine and Jigalong Volunteer Bushfire Brigade with the equipment, assets and fund of the brigades placed under control of the Shire of East Pilbara in accordance with the Local Government Act 1995, in accordance with 41(1) of the Bushfires Act 1954, establishes the East Pilbara Volunteer Bushfire Brigade and allocates the equipment, assets, funds of the cancelled Nullagine and Jigalong Volunteer Bushfire Brigades to the East Pilbara Volunteer Bushfire Brigades. And 3, in accordance with 41(2)(a) of the Bushfires Act 1954, requests the Chief Executive Officer to notify the Fire and Emergency Services Commissioner of 1 and 2 of the above. Can I get a mover, please? Councillor Bear. Seconder, Councillor Chapman, thank you. Councillor Bear, you wish to speak?
Yeah, I put to query the asset and funds of the brigade placed under the control of Shire. I didn't see any mention in the report of what those funds were. So what's left, because I think there's also a mention in the info bulletin potentially about purchasing a water trailer or Jigalong, or there's related to this whole concept. And wondering whether that's an additional budgetary need or funding need, or if it's covered by the funds available.
Shire President, Nicole may have some advice in relation to trailers.
Yeah, no problem at all. So in relation to the trailers, that was a project that we worked on to seek grant funding for, and it has been fully funded. We received funding from both BHP and Consolidated Minerals, and trailers will actually be deployed to a number of remote communities as a part of that project. The link for this particular case is that we are also then taking the out, and we'll be putting the trailer in.
Yeah, okay. And then funds, any other assets left from those brigades?
So typically the assets, in terms of plant equipment and the like, are funded. And it's a little bit of a weird arrangement, but basically they are owned by the Shire or managed by the Shire, but paid for by the department. I don't profess to have all the nitty-gritty of the mechanisms, but so whatever's there would, I imagine, just get transferred across to whatever this other thing is, as part of that overall.
Mate, that is correct. I haven't got specific numbers for you, but that's correct. The appliances and another equipment on Shire, and have either been purchased or comes part of the ESL.
And are any of the maintenance and upkeep costs already budgeted for in the budget?
They would be, because they would be already appliances and equipment Shire owned, so we have responsibility already.
Right.
There's nothing additional.
Yeah.
So those funds that are in there, we've got there's a provisional amount in there, which is what we believe we're going to be claiming back.
Yeah.
Right, in terms of revenue. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of just, I don't know.
That's a good question.
Thank you. 1 second. Councillor Chapman, as a second, have you got any questions on this one? Thank you.
I was the original, my first motion that I moved when I first joined the council was to establish the Jigalong Brigade, and good efforts were done to make that happen, but it didn't work out the way that the council had intended with those assets. So that fast attack vehicle will come back to you to furnish the new bushfire brigade. I'd like to compliment Rob's team and Officer Chris Stanley on the work that he has done in keeping the Nullagine Brigade going, and indeed that he's been the mover shaker with a couple of volunteers from Nullagine to keep that brigade going. And that's in my role. I say that in my role as the left chairman for Nullagine, and that we've been managed to transfer it to a bushfire brigade, which is the local government controlled entity. I think that's commendable that we've been able to do that. So thank you for all the work that has been done in the background on making this happen. It's taken a couple of years.
Thank you. I have got some questions from Councillor Lockyer, but anybody else got any questions first? No. Okay, so I believe you've been briefed on these anyway, but we'll start with question 1. Where does the Shire plan to physically house and store the equipment from the Nullagine and Jigalong brigades after their closure?
Well, thanks, Shire President. The response is equipment is currently stored at the Shire depot in the Ranger story. Vehicles are stored at the Ranger compound.
Okay, cool, thank you. 2, assuming they'll be located in Newman, which you've just confirmed that, Has there a risk or capacity assessment being completed regarding the Newman-based brigade's ability to store, maintain, and deploy the additional fire appliances and equipment?
No formal risk assessment and capacity assessments has been undertaken. Vehicles and equipment have been at the current location for nearly 8 months with no issues identified.
Thank you. And 3, has the Shire considered the impact of other volunteer services in town, particularly regarding their ability to maintain volunteers?
Members of the Rangers team are currently members of the brigade, and once approved, the intent is to advertise for further volunteers. Ongoing conversations with local SES and VFRS brigades plus DFS continuously take place regarding volunteers and possible sharing between units.
Excellent. Thank you. Thanks very much for that. And I guess that goes to show it's perfect feedback on our questions if we get them in advance, in writing to the team. They can actually give us proper feedback when it comes around to council for understanding. So thank you for that. If there's nothing else, we'll now put this. Sorry.
Just ask another question. We have a VFS brigade and we have a bushfire brigade. Bushfire brigade cannot attend structured fires. You know, but the VFS brigade could if they're suitably trained. Are they suitably trained to attend structured fires? Do you know?
I had to take it on notice. I'm not aware of the response is or not.
Thank you. That's fine.
Thank you. Excellent. Okay. With nothing else on that one, I'll put now 12.3.1 to vote, please. All those in favour? All for, none against. Thank you. Okay, 12.3.2, the development application change of use, tourist accommodation use not listed for lot 255, number 6, Cook Street, Nullagine, P060/23. Where the officer recommendation reads that Council 1 resolves that the proposed use not listed development application for tourist accommodation at lot 255, number 6, Cook Street, Nullagine may be consistent with the objectives of the Nullagine Townside Zone in accordance with clause 3.2C of the Shire of East Pilbara Local Planning Scheme number 4, and 2 requests the Chief Executive Officer to follow and advertise procedures of the deemed provisions found in Schedule 2 of the Planning and Development Local Planning Schemes Regulation 2015 in consideration the application for development approval. Can I get a mover, please? Councillor Berta Brooks. Second, Councillor Henderson. Thank you. The mover like to speak? Councillor Anderson?
Nothing.
Anybody else wish to speak? Thank you. So now put this to vote, please. All those in favour? All for and none against. 13. Want to speak or? Okay. So did you want to speak, sir? Or you good? Okay. Just thought I'd check before we go into confidential items. Thank you. 13. Committee reports nil. 14. No motions of which previous notice has been given. As with questions by members for which due notice has been given 15, and there is no business of an urgent nature introduced by the decision of council. Item 17, which is confidential matters behind closed doors. May I please have a mover and a seconder that the item 17.1.1, the proposed lease Hertz Australia Proprietary Limited, of the agenda be dealt with behind closed doors in accordance with section 5.232 of the Local Government Act 1995. A mover, please, Councillor Berta Brooks. Seconder, Councillor Bear. Thank you. I'll now put that to the vote, please. All those in favour going behind closed doors. Thank you. Yes, thank you. It is all for and none against. The live stream will be closed. Will be paused during the closed section. The decision made by council on considering these items will be made available publicly following the closed session and will be published with the minutes of the meeting for your information. I thank members of the public for their attendance and may I ask you please to leave the chambers in order for the council to consider the confidential matter. The live stream will be paused during the closed session. You're welcome to wait outside in the foyer if you wish and may return to the chambers after council considers these items. Otherwise, thank you for joining us today. The decisions made by council in consideration of these items will be made available publicly following the closed session and will be published within the minutes of the meeting for your information. Thank you. the live, yes, I see the thumbs up. Yes, thank you, sir. Right. For the benefit of those watching live stream and those of you who return to the gallery, is anyone come back in or not? Okay, cool. Council's made the following decisions during the closed session. 17.1.1, the proposed lease Hertz Australia Proprietary Limited. Recommendation that Council 1 approves the proposed lease between the Shire and Hertz Australia Proprietary Limited for a term of 3 years commencing 1 August 2025 with an option for 2-year further terms of 3 years from each from 1 August 2028 and 1 August 2031, subject to the requirements of Section 3.58 of the Local Government Act 1995. Authorises under 2 authorise the Chief Executive Officer to approve the lease for the further terms of 1 August 2028 and 1 August 2031. 3 authorises the Chief Executive Officer to approve minor variations in accordance with Shire's minor variation policy. 4 authorises the Chief Executive Officer to execute the agreement on behalf of the Shire of East Pilbara, the Common Seal, which there was all for and none against. This decision will be incorporated into the minutes of today's meeting and published on the Shire's website for the community and general public to be confirmed at 22 August 2025 Ordinary Council meeting. The date of the next meeting, as mentioned in the previous item, was the 22nd of August 2025, will be held in the Newman Council Chambers. With the closure being no further business, I now declare the Shire of East Pilbara ordinary. Please, before I close the closure.
So thank you for the closure. Answer the question in relation to the Newman VO events. Yes, they are trained for structure fires. Very good.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Appreciate that getting in the nick of time. Okay, so with the closure coming in 19, there being no further business, I now declare the Shire of East Pilbara Ordinary Council meeting 27 July. Almost had me there, Josh. July 25th. He's going to be 27th of June here. You got me. Yeah. Bugger. 25 July. Closed at 11:43 a.m. On behalf of the Shire of East Pilbara Council, I'd like to extend our sincerest thanks to the Punmu community for graciously hosting today's council meeting. We deeply appreciate your hospitality and the opportunity to gather on your land. Your support in facilitating this meeting is invaluable, and we're grateful for the strong partnership we share with your community. Thank you to the councillors and staff for your attendance. All done.
Please, can you give me that thing? I can't see it. Please. Yeah. Couple.